Hey everyone, this is Judi with JLBCrafts. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. In this video, I'm going to be setting up decorating and hand lettering the week of May 16th through the 22nd in my big lovely letters planner, and you also can be using the classic size. You can be using a normal horizontal, not a lettering planner. You can even be using notebook paper or free printable practice letter sheets. So whatever you have, that'll work. The important thing is that you have a good brush pen, and I have lots of them linked in my description box. So P week, that's what we're on. We're on the letter P. We're going through a lot of descenders. P this week, Q next week. And the theme I decided to go with comes to us from the hashtag is ManbyHPFB group. It is Cactus and Succulents. This is the Canadian Happy Planner Facebook group, but you don't have to be Canadian to be a part of it. And so I'm going with, I have the green book from the Functionally Chic. This is the Rainbow Edit sticker set from Live Love Posh, because it's got these fun green succulents in it. And those of you that have followed me for a while, you know green is my favorite color. There's a little bit of blue in here. So I'm just gonna go up the center, across the top. Oh, I forgot to pick some Simply Gilded washi tape. I'll do that and be right back. All right, so this is the one I decided to go with. I had some that had blue and green together, but they were more blue than green, and I feel like these stickers are more green than blue. So this is the one I'm gonna go with. I do have, as usual, I have a coupon in the description box of all of my videos. If you sign up for Simply Gilded's No Spam newsletter, and it truly is no spam, you will get a coupon code for $5 off a purchase of $15 or more, and I will get that same code so we can enable each other. That's enough to cover shipping unless it's a rather large order. So enjoy that code if you want to, and I'll be back. Not pulling my washi tape super tight. You can't really see it stretch, but it does stretch, and then when it contracts, that's what causes your page to curl. Excellent. Okay. The other thing I love about this book is it does have some tiny little dot stickers I can use as bullet points. Here we go. So I'm just going to rotate through these different greens as my bullet points. Excellent. All right, let's write in our assignments. I think I'll pick a nice dark green tool pen for this. Oh, it's already out. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is learn the letter P. Then we'll put it at the beginning of a word. So we have pew, as in pew that stinks. Pond. And pick. And then we'll do a double P in the middle with apple. And then finally we'll end a couple words with P. We'll do jump and flip. So if you want to join the circus, you're going to know jump and flip. All right, so I'm going to pick my green pens and I'll be back. Okay, so for pens, I've chosen the green zebra. That's the firmest one. I'm skipping the Fudenosuke. This is the zebra Funwari. And then I have the Vice Brant in the lighter of the two greens that are available. That's the next softest, still pretty firm. Then, so I have two, those two are kind of on the firm side, and then I would say these two are on the softer side. This is the like periwinkle gray blue of the Pentel Touch Brush Sign Pen. And then finally I have a Le Pen Flex with a pencil grip because it's so skinny in the mint green. So let's get started with our ace drills. So like I said, starting with the firmest, and now for me, I'm heavy-handed. So firm is easier for me to work with. If you have a very light touch, you might find the opposite to be true. It wouldn't surprise me at all. If you do better with the softer pens and it takes more energy for you to control the firmer pens. But for me, I like to start with the easier pen for me to use, which for me is the firmer pen. So this is the Zebra brand. Funwari is the style. Nice dark green. Pick up the darker greens. Okay, and then the Vice brand, which is a little bit less firm in my opinion. Next is softer yet, the Pentel Touch. And then finally I have the I.L.N.P Flex in a minty green. And even though it's soft, it's a good quality pen. You can recognize that by the fact that the tip springs back every time you lift it back up off of the page. It still comes back to center. So, all right, let's do a deep dive into the P. I don't think we're gonna have too many struggles, too many surprises on the P. So it says here, start with the descender stroke and then add the oval stroke to the right side to create a P. So somewhat opposite of what we'll do next week with the Q. So we're going to start where the dot is at the midline and come straight down, so heavy down. And then you're going to add on, like it says, you're going to add on an oval. So we're going to do, and you can do an entrance like this one. Has a little entrance. They're actually doing a light up into a heavy down and then a light up and around. And then the important thing to note here is you stop. That is one stroke. That's half of the P. Then you're going to start down here. See the second dot there? And you're going to go light up, heavy down and around. And then it's almost like an upside down O where you're going to come around with a little loop. That's one option. So here's the completed P. And here they tell you right here, descender can carry through to create flourishing. So here they've gone light up, heavy down, light up and around, and then they've done this little flourish. So this is not a connector stroke. You're not connecting here, you're connecting up here. This might be something you want to do if your P is the last letter in your word as opposed to if it's the first letter in the word. We've talked about how when the P is the first letter in the word, you might do something a little different to go into it. Here's an example of one you might do a little bit different if it's the last letter in the word. And you also don't have to do this little loop-de-loop. They don't show a loop-de-loop here, but I don't want you to get confused that there's two separate strokes here. All right, so there's the lovely letters P. I'll get my sheet over here ready to go, but let's look at some of our other options. So the free download Tombow Fudenosuke, here they're much more vertical, lot less flourish. So they're just going heavy down and then light up, heavy down, and they're just ending with a kind of a little curly Q, not really any kind of a connector stroke. So if you want more of a printed feel to your hand lettered font that you're developing, this would be one option where you don't come on around and do a connector stroke. You just start the next letter beside it. And that's perfectly fine. The next example I have is from the Rainbow Crayola Calligraphy. So very similar, more vertical, less slant, starting at the midline, heavy down, light up and around. So theirs, it's interesting to note, they're kind of almost going straight into the loop, which is also acceptable. You don't have to make it two separate strokes. So theirs is kind of taller and thinner, which I kind of like. Light up to midline, heavy down, light up, and come in around for your connector stroke. So one of the things that you can play with is, do you leave a little bit of a gap here? Like that? Or do you keep it fully tight and closed and connected like that? I kind of like a little bit of a gap. Same thing with my B. But that's just my personal preference. Here then is the boxed, loose leaf boxed set from Crayola. I got this at Walmart. And so they're not curling under, they're kind of just coming straight up but they're doing a loop here. We haven't seen that before really. We came up and then we reversed direction and came straight down as opposed to a loop. So if you like more of a flourish on yours, this is definitely an option to come up, do a loop into your heavy down, and then they're coming back up light, and they're pretty much heading straight for the midline and coming around and ending. You can end this again with another little loop if you really like lots of flowery, flourishy stuff on your hand lettering. That's totally fine. Last but not least, the Calligraphy Made Easy book. Since we're doing the letters out of alphabetical order, got to turn the page. So here is this, the first P that they show us, and this is not much flourish at all. So they're doing their heavy down from midline to below baseline, and then they're kind of starting again at baseline. So clearly two separate strokes here. Light up, heavy down, and around for a connector. So kind of similar. No loop at the bottom, so if you, again, don't like much of a flourish, this might be the version for you. And then let's see if there's an alternate. Yep, there is. So here we're getting, a couple alternates here. So we've got the first P where they're actually doing starting at midline, so not starting at baseline and coming all the way up, but they are doing the little loop at the top, heavy down, and then they're connecting. So again, no loop at the bottom, but this one has a little bit of a loop at the top. And then here's the opposite. So they're starting at midline, heavy down, light up, and then they're connecting what kind of looks a little bit like an S, but you get the meaning. So lots and lots of different options. You can make it practically without any loops and flourishes at all. You can make it super loopy and flourishy, whatever works for you. So I am going to start, I think maybe if the P is my first letter of my word, I might go ahead and do a little bit of an entrance stroke like so. Heavy down, light up, heavy down, light up, and around. So that looks definitely like a P to me. If I want to make it a little bit less flourishy, I can just start at midline, heavy down, light up, heavy down, light up. So a couple different options there. If the P is the first letter in the word, I do kind of like, I've figured out this year that I do kind of like a little bit of an entrance stroke into it, but I don't think I want to go all the way into a loop. I think that's, you guys have been following me for a while, you know that's a little too flourishy for me. It kind of makes it a little too fat. There's too much going on there. So I think I am going to practice mine as if it were, maybe I'll do an entrance. I'll do an entrance on one row, and then as if it were a middle P on the other row. So I'll go every other. So this would be my entrance into my first letter in the word. And you can play with this too. Like, see, this one comes around and down versus this one comes kind of around and up. You can make this one continuous stroke, or you can lift your pen, whatever works for you. Okay, this one, I'm just gonna start at midline as if it were a middle P. That one got away from me. It's really, really big. And I feel like that's getting a little too gappy. Okay, this line, I'm gonna do P as if it was the first letter in my word. And finally, I'm going to finish with the P as if it were a middle letter. So one thing, if you do make this all one stroke, which is perfectly fine, it doesn't give you the option of finishing with a flourish down here. Let me try that really quick. So if the P were the last letter in my word and I wanted to do a flourish, I would come down, up, and around like that, and then come up here do my little end stroke. Yeah, see, I don't think I like two different tails there. I think for me, it only needs one. So let's try starting a word with P. So I'm gonna do all these P's like this one where I started with the little entrance stroke. G. So I want my G, the bottom of my G and the bottom of my P to be roughly similar in shape, so fatness and height, and then my H. Pew. You're also looking for your oval on your P and your oval on your G to be roughly similar in shape and size. Pug. I feel like my slant's a little bit excessive. All right, let's try pond. So a lot of symmetry between our P and our D there, the beginning and at the end. I can also try starting my P curling under instead of over. And that maybe fits better with the ending on the D, I don't know. Try both, see if you decide you want an entrance into a P at the beginning of a word. Try them both and see which one you like better. I know it was really super fast forwarded, but I did hit my max recording length right there. At least I noticed it and didn't skip anything. All right, last word with a P at the beginning, pick. And I feel like my entrance is getting a little bit crazy big, so I'm gonna try to slim that down a little bit. Heavy down, light up. I know that K is still giving some of you issues. heavy down, light up. Looks pretty good. I feel like that entrance really matches that exit. Halfway there, one page done. All right, let's move to, if you've been struggling with what your P's in the middle might look like, here we go. We've got a double P in the middle. Lots of those oval forms within this word that we're gonna want to try to keep of similar size. So, apple. Apple. So the more identical your P's, the better this word is going to look. I know you all are starting to hate when I throw double letters at you, but practice makes perfect, right? That's a good way to judge how your consistency is. Lots of opportunity for entanglement on this one. It might be a good one for you to go every other line and use a second sheet of paper. Looks like I've got some blue sky for a bit, so I'm gonna adjust my lighting a little bit more and I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. So let's try putting the P at the end of the word. Jump. So if you're playing with a flourish here, this would be where you would use it, if you're doing something along these lines. So again, we're going to want our bottom of our J and the bottom of our P. It's basically the same exact stroke, so they should look as identical as possible. I'm just going to try fitting UMP in here. They definitely got fatter toward the end of this row. Hopefully, coming around and on out to connect on the J doesn't cause you to break your P by getting into the habit of doing the same thing. All right, you knew I had to put an F in here somewhere. At least I saved it to the last when you were nice and warmed up. So let's start with our F and end with our P. And since I'm starting the word with the F, I'm gonna go ahead and go into it somewhat like, I could try going into it just like the P. So remember, for the P, I kind of did an overturn a little bit. So let's try doing an F the exact same way and see if we like it. Is that gonna work? I don't think that's gonna work for me. I gotta remember, my F isn't up here, it's down here. So I can't start my F that way. That's good, just an under scoop into it. Flip. Oh my goodness, I messed myself up with my Fs. Okay, that does not look bad. I am okay with that F. That wasn't too bad there. Whew. Good luck avoiding the entanglements on this one. At least it was right at the end. Well, entanglements and Fs and everything else aside, I still think it looks like the word it's supposed to look like, which is good. So let's put it in my planner and then see what I looked like a year ago. It is a pretty set of colors, even though those last two are a little hard to see. So here's the second half of last year. So remember, the words pretty much stayed the same in this particular month, and they probably will mostly in June as well. And then we'll get into a lot of different words when we get to the capital letters. So there we go. There is apple, jump, flip. I think it'll be interesting to look at apple because, yeah, I had a lot more trouble with consistency with double P's in the words last year than this year. And I think my lettering has gotten a little more compact as well as I've gotten better control over the heavy downs and the light ups. I don't feel like I need to spread stuff out as far. So good luck with your P, everyone, and I will see you next week for Q. Continue to tag me, especially on Instagram, and I'll keep sharing those in my stories so that we can encourage each other by showing off our hard work. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.